This is the Andres Segovia Show.
What's going on, everyone? This is Andres Segovia. Thank you for joining me on this stream. It's not a live stream, but I am doing some tests with both StreamYard, and I was doing some tech changes to my studio. Some of you guys might have noticed that I haven't really been putting up that much content on YouTube that was video centric. It was more audio podcasts because, well, there's been a lot happening in the background, particularly some family business, especially when some of the family ends up getting sick. So I had to deal with that, and I took advantage of some of the downtime to rearrange a few things. I'm going to be going over some of the rest of your questions and answers that I've gotten up to this point about the unplugged phone. And you look over my left shoulder, I do have my cell phones up there, and towards the back of them is that white one all over there is the Google Pixel 7 Pro, which I talked on the previous stream that I intend to flash a private focused OS on. I was thinking about putting up a poll. So for those of you watching this stream when it goes up, you can comment in the section down below, whether you're on YouTube, Rumble, X, because that's where it's going, or even in the socials. I'll put it up there. What would you like to see me flash? I'm leaning more over to Graphene OS, but some people have expressed interest in Calyx OS. The installation process is almost the same, and I flashed both of them. I flashed Lineage, I've flashed other custom ROMs on other devices, but in particular for Pixel, when it comes to comparing and contrast, everybody was always saying, why do I need this phone? I could just go for the other ones. Well, let's find out how easy it is to flash one of these privacy-focused OSs. I am leaning more to Graphene OS because of the controversies that have been with Unplugged, but what would you like to see? I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of you do say Graphene OS. So just let me know in the comment section down below, and well, stay tuned because I will do that live. So just join me, watch me flash this thing live. I might not do this from the studio because I need all my tools, and I can't do that from the equipment I have here in the studio. I might have to do it from my office. So just let you know, that's what it might be. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I don't have as much time today, but I do intend to get caught up with as many questions and responses, and they're always coming in. And these, again, sorry folks for everybody that's on Rumble X, for everybody that's not on YouTube, that's reached out to me through the socials and all that, I am not responding to those comments. And unfortunately with X, if formerly known as Twitter, unless you're verified, I'm not getting the notification. And sometimes those posts are hidden away. I found out by going back to check some of my stuff. It's like, hey, it looks like I have some hidden comments here. So I don't always get those notifications. Let me rephrase. I never get those notifications unless I go manually check. And my videos are just everywhere with reposts, quotes, and all that stuff. So I'm sorry if I don't get to yours, but hopefully someone on YouTube asked something similar. And for that, I do have to share this. It's not about you reading it, it's me, but I'm just proving to you that I am going through it. And the last question I did on the previous Q&A session for Unplugged, I think it was the volume 6. And the last one I answered was, can you load an APK on this phone? I think there's a variation of that question that will come up here in a moment, so I'll definitely highlight that. But anyway, I hit the camera there, sorry. Let me go to this one from a couple of months ago. This is a comment left on my review of the Unplugged phone. And yes, I am working on a long-term unplugged phone review. I'm holding off as long as possible because yes, they did push a big firmware update. I talked about it in a previous stream where I talked about the big firmware update with the self-destruct feature. I talked about other odds and ends in tech, but I talked about that then. But I am working on my reaction to that firmware update. I want to show you, and I want to do the self-destruct in person here on video to see it in action, so you guys can all see it, happen. So that'd be cool. But when it comes to the long-term review, I want to do it after they drop Android 14. So just letting you know that those are at least 2 more content-specific videos for the Unplugged phone that I am working on, aside from the fact of doing these Q&As with y'all. Okay, and I do have other tech reviews coming up, which is the Samsung Galaxy Ring that I'm wearing on me instead of the wedding band. I guess I'm married more to Samsung than my wife. And this one. Sorry, this one is off to the side. The Fold 6. That's my daily driver at the moment. And yes, I have things to report about that, good and bad. Anyway, questions and answers. This one's for J Bailey 9270. a few questions. How many different sign-ins or accounts can you have? And through the F-Droid store, if Google Apps, banking, and social media are downloaded, are they sandboxed like a Graphene OS? Thanks. All right, so I did respond because I needed some clarification on it. So I did, do you mean device owner accounts? Because this device does not do that. Only sign-ins via the Unplugged store for the app suite. And I do recommend you go to watch the previous stream that I'm talking about where I did my tech talk, because I did highlight that Unplugged started publishing to their social medias. I didn't see it on their website as of this recording. I did see it though on their X account, and I believe it's also on Instagram, where they're dropping videos on how-tos and other tutorials. The first one is a walkthrough of their Unplugged store and how to create an account, set it up, reset if you have to, and how that is basically the universal account through the Unplugged store for all the suite of apps. You sign in through the store and you're signed in through all the other apps. So I did show that it does allow for one sign in that respect. Now, as a device as a whole, for like a profile, for those of you that use like maybe a Pixel device would know about this, that you can actually add another account to that. I've done it with my Pixel devices where I had my personal account, a business account, so I could keep those things separated, different contacts and phone numbers and all that. I haven't seen that as an option with the Unplugged phone. Okay, well, just letting you know that it's not system level, but with the Unplugged store, you get it through the Unplugged services as one login. Now, F-Droid does not do sign-ins. They just launch and go. That goes the same for what's the other one? No, that's not true. You have to sign in for the Amazon App Store, and you got to sign in for, well, you don't have to sign in for the Aurora Store if you use it. You can, but I always do it anonymously. So I did put that there. And the last one is there are no Google Play services at all, meaning no app requiring Google Play framework. Let me expand my thing. Will run. There is no option to load micro G either, because I've tried accessing the bootloader. There is really no option to get to a bootloader. Let me rephrase, recovery. So I haven't been able to get to recovery. So I think you have to install maybe like twerp, but someone needs to code twerp in order for it to work on an Unplugged phone. But in order to do that, you got to unlock the bootloader, which as of now, you cannot do that. Hence why they're focused on security. I'm sure that the tech guys over at Unplugged have a way to do it, but publicly speaking, nothing is available to that respect, and I don't expect it to. So I hope to have answered those questions, to which Jay Bailey 9270 responded, yes, thanks for the info and something to think about. Absolutely. By the way, I've noticed that there have been more comments coming into my original video, the first Unplugged phone video I did, which was the reaction to the stream that I did with a live react, basically. Like, what is this thing? So the video I think is called, What is the Unplugged phone? And I think that has a lot to do with how Google curates the information. I noticed that a lot more people have been finding me through Bing. Wow. And DuckDuckGo and some other obscure search engines, because there's more of you that are probably out there that are just tired of how Google handles the information, right? Because there's a lot of controversies with Google, and I've informed you that they've been doing it for a long time. But it's just interesting that they only highlight that one instead of my review when the keywords are Unplugged phone review. So I should be the first one. I was the first one to have the review. I have the most views on my review, and the Unplugged phone people have signal blasted, and others have too. Big accounts have signal blasted my video, but Google won't show that one. It will show it from other people that also covered the phone. So anyway, Yeet 20001 says, so you downloaded an app that can turn your mic on. The point of the phone is to not have that happen. This was with respects to my video. Bought the Unplugged phone, do this first. So with that one, I believe it's mentioning because I talk about F-Droid, and then I think Aurora Store. So the whole thing is showing you that you can do these things. I'm doing this for science. So yeah, you have to realize that in order to sideload those applications, you have to allow even unknown sources. So you really got to know what you're doing and where you're getting the apps from. There's a lot of APK websites out there where you can download things from. APK Pure, APK Gold, APK Mirror, Up to Down. My goodness, I don't know how many more are out there. Not to mention you can go directly to some of these websites and get the apps direct, like Unplugged.com is the only place you can get the Unplugged store, or the Unplugged suite of apps, which comes in the version of the store. You can only get that through Unplugged.com. You download that. You allow for unknown sources if you're not using, the the Unplugged phone, it comes preloaded, but other phones will say you got to allow it and bypass security in that respect, and then you can start installing from there. So that's something that I wanted to show, but there were some necessary tools for the OS that were missing that I was showing. It's just that you can download after you turn your mic on. There are some privacy focused features that do block some nefarious activity, but I think the previous question was asking about sandboxing things in. No, I have not seen the Unplugged phone sandbox any applications in, which is something that Graphene OS does when it comes to using some Google apps on it. It'll sandbox things in, so which is why I'm saying I'm leaning more towards Graphene OS to sideload on the Pixel, because I want to try out Android Auto sandboxed. I didn't do that before when I flashed Android Graphene OS. This time I want to do it, so I'm leaning more towards that one. So I'll still pull up the poll, but if people vote Calypso OS, I might overrule you guys, because I want to try out Android Auto, and you cannot use it on a custom ROM OS that doesn't have the Google Services Framework. Okay, so this same user asked a different question on the review video. It really wished you talked about the security part of the phone. I did, and I even responded with the timestamp with the entire chapter titled Unplugged, Privacy Center, and Security. I also did, and I added this, I also did an entire discussion on that very thing with the CEO prior to my review, so I didn't have to dwell so much on it. I put in a clip, about a few seconds to a minute clip of CEO Ryan Patterson weighing in on some of these things with the security and privacy with respects to the device. All right, this one was a comment left on my video about the Unplugged phone. Do this first. This is from 2 Pink 1 Stink. Good morning, love. Well, it's good evening to you. Just some random comments here, folks. All right, back to the review video. This one's from John Dunbar 2393. So am I understanding right that you buy the phone for basically $1,000 and the only other cost is $130 a year, no other fees, just over $10 a month? There's always some confusion about this. So here's the thing. There are services in this phone where you can pay to use them. That's the Unplugged suite of apps, okay? So talk about the VPN, the Messenger, I think the email, the sync, and others. Not to be confused that there's an email service in here. There is no email service, so you're not paying for an email service. So like you have Proton email, you continue to deal with Proton. There is no Unplugged servers to handle and host your email. There's just an app for that, okay? The phone itself costs, last I checked, about just short of $1,000 before taxes. And with the purchase of the device, you do get a 1-year subscription to their services, after which, unless they raise the prices, is $129 annually for the usage of those apps. Otherwise, you can still use a basic version of the service, which limits some of the usage and features. For example, I used a trial of the Unplugged phone suite, and they expired after 2 weeks. So I was using the VPN. This is on other phones, not just here. So I was using it like on my Samsung. So I tried the VPN. After several minutes, the VPN logged me out and says I finished using my allotted time. So if I renew at the subscription price, then I'm sure now I have unlimited access to the VPN. So to what extent that applies to the Unplugged Messenger, I don't know, but I do want to include all of those answers for my long-term review of the Unplugged phone. So stay tuned for that. So I did respond to that. And yes, the phone is one cost, the app suite is another after a trial period. And I also emphasize that the Unplugged app suite is available for any Android device, not just for this device. And most of the apps are supposed to be coming for iPhone as well. Currently, you can only get 2 apps on the iPhone from Unplugged. That's the Messenger and the VPN. Okay. To which the John Dunbar did respond. Says, thank you for the response, my friend. I'm working my way through all of your videos on the Unplugged phone as I type this. I have emailed them through their site about 6 times over the past almost year and have never heard back. So I hope they're responsive if there is an issue. Thanks again. You know what? I'm going to clip that out. I'll screenshot this and I'll send it over to Unplugged to let them know, because this is not the first, second, or maybe even the fifth time I've heard someone express this, and this was about 2 months ago. So let's hope that they gotten better if that was becoming an issue. But I believe they would prioritize, because again, this is a new business, and they got a lot of publicity, a lot of PR, both from the good side and the bad side, because of people that are involved in it, right? But aside from that, with the resources that they have, I know that they're probably trying to prioritize their customers first versus prospect customers. So I did use there's just like a chat app. It's called I think it's called UP Support. Yeah, let's see. Let me pull that up here. I don't have the second camera up on this one, and I do intend to use it for a future one. See, support. It's called UP Support, and you can get. Let me go over here, away from the thing. So you can get support or generate logs. So if I were to hit, let's say, get support, what happens? Will it show my previous conversations? And messages. Yes. So it does keep track of your of whatever tickets that you have opened with Unplugged, and I did mine 21 weeks ago. That one I got a response by the next day, and it picked up right where we left off. So I thought that was pretty cool, letting you know that's what it was as a customer experience. Okay, all right, let me see. Next one up. This is again for the video. If you bought the phone, do this first. This is from Dr. Unsteady. This is the most obvious hot pot in decades. To which I responded, I asked that and more of the Unplugged CEO, Ryan Patterson, after the 1 hour mark, and here it is. So I put a timestamped link response to that. And someone added to the thread that this is from True Blue 3483, says Eric Prince is very close with Trump and hated by Obama and company. I guess that's to mean if it's a honeypot, then who's it a honeypot for? When he leans conservative, right, and this is the company he keeps, and then the ones that are weaponizing our Department of Justice and things are the ones going after him. So he's working with the ones that are after him. I guess that's how I'm interpreting that, and I'm probably spot on with that. So just letting you know, that's probably the context to that comment. Okay. All right, someone to the review, Soldier Pants 2 says, well done. Thank you very much. I give that one a heart. This next one is from Eugen Jude 6945. This is to the video, what's in the Unplugged phone app store? This is the Q&A volume 4. For the record, I can use YouTube on my Unplugged phone, but I'm using the browser. And when I logged in, it remembers all my saved stuff. It works like normal. Yes, and that mention there is with respects to some people have asked me, how am I supposed to watch YouTube if I can't have the app? Well, you don't need the app. YouTube does exist on the web, on your computer. Do you use an app for YouTube, or are you using YouTube on your browser? So the concept is the same. Let me see. I did a YouTube wrapper for YouTube Music. So I'm signed in to my Google account on the Mozilla browser. So I can access all of that. And let me just jump on over to YouTube. That's my personal channel. See? So I'm clicking over to that just to go over to my channel. And all this is just showing me I keep forgetting I have that thing in the way. This is all just YouTube Music. This is an example of what you can do. Now, you can do the wrapper for YouTube Music. You can't do the wrapper for YouTube, the video service. So you will go to youtube.com and let me see the landing page there. And I'm signed in, and voila, YouTube. So everything is there. You just can't save it as like its own app. That's what's called a text wrapper. I mean, a web wrapper. But you can. That's how you use it. And if you have premium, which I do, I'm signed in. So everything is there. My history, my subscriptions, my watch list, my favorites, and all that. The music experience is better with the service if you use YouTube Music, because it acts like the YouTube Music app. Okay. All right. Alrighty. Let's see. Next one over. That was a point. This one's not Unplugged phone related, and I did I not answer this one? The question was the new Under Armour Project Rock over-the-ear headphones versus the first generation. That was the comparison. Do these come with an app? I'm gonna respond here live. Yeah. Yes, the JBL app. Okay, so the JBL app is the one that lets you. Oh, I did respond because this person, Jeep128, did ask again on a previous one, on another video, which was talking about the long-term review over the first generation headphones. Can you tell me if the Gen 1 headphones connected to the app? Mine doesn't. Seems to be the only one, or is it only Gen 2? So let me delete the previous one, Jeep. If you're watching, I'm deleting the previous one. So the answer is, this is not Unplugged phone related, but I'm still going to answer it. So if you have the Project Rock headphones, there's 3 of them that were made. Yes, 3 of them that were made. There were the on the ear, there were the over the ear, and then there were the earbuds, the ones that go into the ear. Okay, so the second gen, which is over the ear, the black ones that I showed, those work with the JBL app. The previous ones, the earbuds and the on the ear ones, I showed the white model, they do not work with the JBL app. And from my experience, I didn't need the extra access, but it's nice to have to be able to tweak it. So I only tweak the audio using the EQ on my devices. When it comes to the second gen app, you do need the second generation headphones. You do need the JBL app because you really need to tweak those things because the sound comes very muted or low. And you do need it. I use the Rocks preset, and that one gives you more bass and is a little louder. But I prefer the sound quality of the previous gen headphones. Okay, someone with a comment now. This is from Gary Landers 1470 on my review of the Unplugged phone. What a thorough review, sir. Thank you, and I did heart that. Jeep128, once again, another message. This was with the Unplugged, the Under Armour Project Rock. Can you help me with this question? Does the first generation connect to the JBL app? And I did respond to that, so I'll just skip it past now. Now, someone left a comment on, oh, this is a good one. Someone left a comment on the Unplugged, what's in the Unplugged phone app store? That's question and answer volume 4. Can I have Microsoft 365 on the phone? Easy answer, yes. And as for proof, well, let's see how many of these you'll be able to see. Yeah, you probably won't be able to see them all, but at least you could see these 3. Again, I'm sorry, yo. So there's OneDrive, OneNote, Outlook. I do have, I believe, PowerPoint somewhere is down here. Well, let's see PowerPoint. Excel for sure. Let me see what else. Where's Microsoft Word? Microsoft always changes the names on these things, so it can get a little annoying. And they also got rid of the Microsoft 365, the old one, and then they wrapped it into a different one. So let me see if it's in the Unplugged store. I'll answer this by going to the Unplugged store. Okay, so let me type in Microsoft. Let's see what pulls up with Microsoft. Microsoft Office 365. It's installed, and I can't find it on my list there. I didn't hide it. The Authenticator, I installed it. Microsoft Edge, I installed it. You can get Intune, Microsoft Launcher if you want to change the look and feel of your device. There's OneDrive, OneNote, Outlook, Remote Desktop, Microsoft SwiftKey if you like using SwiftKey like I do on my other devices. Microsoft Teams to do SharePoint, the company portal, and even the translator app is in here. So yes, you can get that. Now I don't see Microsoft Word populate there. I think you got to go through the so Microsoft Word isn't on it. So the Excel, Word, and PowerPoint probably they don't appear because they would be under the Microsoft 365 app. But for some reason, I was cycling through and I couldn't find it right here. So I'm gonna open it from here and see what's up. So there it is. I'm signed in. Was I in frame when I did all that? I wasn't looking at it. I have 4 screens in front of me. I'm sorry. So here I am signed in with Microsoft 365. So let me show you real quick in case I was not in frame. Oh, my goodness, this is embarrassing. But yeah, Microsoft, I type it in and all these apps appear here. The ones that don't show up would be Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. You have to use the Microsoft 365 app for that. That doesn't mean, though, let me try it. I'm going to go to the Aurora store and see if I can get it from there. You know what? I might end up clipping this out just to show, because people want to be productive with these devices, and that's a very important one. So let me type in Word on Aurora Store, and there it is. It pops up, Microsoft Word. I'm going to install it. So let's see if it installs and it'll launch, okay? It should, and it's doing it pretty quick. So it's a 70, 80, 96, and installing. You want to install? Yes, I do. And now open. There it is. Voila. So let me see if I could sign in. I just won't show you that part. It's configuring Word and fetching my files. So technically that means I'm signed in. So that means the universal login. Yeah, there it is. I am signed in. Okay. And it's signed in to all three of my accounts. I can't show you that. I have two businesses and a personal, all signed in. I don't have to touch anything. I just installed Word because I'm signed in with the other apps like Outlook. They're all here. So let me just show you my logos real quick. So you might, nope, I blocked it. So I'm going to screenshot this and put it up afterwards on its own video. But yes, you can get Word, Excel, and PowerPoint through the Aurora Store if you so want it. I just did right before everybody. So even better, you can do that. This is similar to what happened with, ironically, the Microsoft Surface Duo. You could not install from the Google Play Store Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. I had to go through like an Aurora Store to get them. It just, for some reason, you can't install the main apps on it. You have to go through Microsoft 365. So anyway, I thought I answered that question thoroughly. This is from Rayleigh Patterson 3863. This is with breaking news. Oh, this was a post that I made. Unplugged has officially begun their international rollout. So if you guys are not familiar, I'm going to have to go to a different tab for this one. Let me see. Let me just get to my channel. I don't know what's not showing my channel. There it is. Okay. Posts. If you go to my community posts on my channel, now let me share this tab instead. There we go. You'll find that I do populate this with updates every now and then. That's some of the tech that reviews that I'm working on. Other notifications and things. But let's see, my last mention about, 100%. Everybody that voted on the poll, 14 votes, unanimous. You guys all want to see the co-founder Unplugged Eric Prince on the show. So let me find out. Get him on the show. So if you don't want to miss out on that, you got to make sure that you are subscribed wherever you're watching and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when that episode goes up. So I did do a lot of this here, and in one of these I made the announcement. Let me go back to the comments. That Unplug has officially begun their international rollout because they started making the phone available in Canada. So then this user asked, do we have to wait until they announce what service providers they are working with, or are they open to any service provider in any country? To which I responded, the phone is unlocked, so technically it should work on carriers that support the bands on the device. For example, Unplug is not certified to work on Verizon, but I used the device on Verizon for my testing. It worked just fine. Then the user responded again, thanks for that, mate. Definitely keen to give it a go here in Australia. Where it's turning back into a penal colony. Also appreciate the information you've been putting out about this topic. Top job. Thank you very much. I did heart that. All right, next one up, back to the review. Does this work in Europe? This is from Nothing But The Truth 7900. See response to the previous one below. But yes, I did respond to the user. While it should work there, the band support for the device varies per carrier. And it'd be nice if I could spell device right. let me autocorrect. Because I took that in a hurry on my phone or something. All right, there. Spelling error corrected. The UK riots. This one is justified. I'm gonna answer these other questions in some other thing, but if you're not aware, I did interview Nick Searcy, best known for his work on Justified, the FX show, and you can't see it behind me. I have a flask from Justified, and it's a very nice thing. Watch Justified and check out my interview with Nick Searcy. Great stuff there. We hit it off very well. And I did interview another author, but I want to stay on topic here because I already distracted myself with the Under Armour stuff, but at least that was tech related. Okay, here we go. This is from Sloppy Gator. Great interview and thorough answers that helped us make the right decision to move forward with the Unplugged phone. That's a response to my exclusive interview with the COO and CTO of Unplugged. And let's see. And I said thank you for watching. I did clip out a portion of that interview. You guys can go over there and check that part out and just chime into the comments, because the question, we talked about it. Will there be an Unplugged phone 2? I know that right now for a fact they are working on the global rollout. And again, resources, they have to prioritize certain things. I did in my that stream where I talked about the big firmware update and Parler and other things that were going on. In that one, I showed the original design that Unplugged was working with before they ended up settling for this. So you want to check that out. That clip is in the stream. So by all means, go to that previous. It should be one or two videos before this one. So that one was live, so check that out. So they want to know and hear from you, because it did have some ideas about the Unplugged phone too. So this user, Daniel Bia 323, yes, and I'm familiar with this one. Thank you for tuning into the majority of my lives on this topic, as I hope there will be a version 2. And I pull up the thread, and he did respond to that. Andres, please keep us updated. Sadly, we cannot contact the Unplugged phone developers to get updates, ask questions from them. So you are our point of contact. I thought that I gave this a heart, so let me give you a heart. And I said, will do. Believe me, I feel a burden of responsibility. I didn't want to say burden like, oh my goodness, this is a burden. No, I feel the responsibility because of the mutual respect that Unplugged and I were able to have. And that's why I feel pretty confident that Eric Prince would come on my show. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what happens. But it's also because I've been respectful. I've offered constructive criticisms. If you have not seen my interview with Ryan Patterson, that was the first video I made in connections with them. Towards the end, he says something directly to everybody. They rehauled their entire website because of my initial video, what is the Unplugged phone? And the only reason they saw that was because Eric Prince saw it and made them watch my video. So cool, thank you. And that's why I kind of feel that responsibility to be forthright, and to not just that, to do the company justice. Like, hey, I'm giving you guys a fair shake here. I'm not gonna be like those other techies that just spend a week or two with a device and then move on. Look, there's a channel I love a lot, and I don't want to name drop him because I don't want to seem like I'm trying to criticize him. But he tests a phone every single week. I'm like, dude, you're not spending time with the phone. And in my case, if I had tested the Samsung Fold 6, and wait for that review because you'll hear what my gripes are with it. In that first 2 weeks, I did not run into the issues that I ended up running ever since. And those issues have remained persistent, including after firmware updates from Samsung. So just letting you know that the long term is the bigger and more important review, which is why I respect Pocket Now. They're the only ones, the big names out there, that refuse to rush out to put out a review. So shout out to Jaime Rivera at PocketNow.com. Go check them out, support them. They're good folks. Alrighty, let's move on. And then Daniel chimed in again. Can you also ask them if dual digital SIM options? And I think this question comes up again a little later, I think from the same user, so I'm going to answer it then. Okay, this is from Bonaventura 7647. Sir, get it done to Nigeria. You'll sell, I'm assuming he's trying to say you'll sell more than you'll imagine. We need phones like this to take over the market here. That was put on the unboxing video. And I have to say, I totally agree. And I believe that the market is ripe for that there in Nigeria. Was it Nigeria that has the third largest media market in the world? It might be there. I have to double check that. I'm going off memory here because there's three: Hollywood, Bollywood, and then Nigeria was the third. And some reports that I saw not too long ago was that it was threatening to take the second place spot from Bollywood. So that'd be interesting, because I would have thought that the Far East Asia with the Korean dramas or Japan would have had an upper hand on that, but maybe not. Okay, so let's see. This is on a video Um, yes. So this was the question asked when I put this on my. Let me pull this up for you guys to see on my comments here. So I screenshotted this and I reported this directly to Ryan Patterson. They said they were definitely going to look into it because they didn't know about this, the CEO. And I said, well, I went to sideload the Unplugged Store app update on my Samsung only to be greeted by this warning. Harmful app blocked. Unplugged Store. See, Google Play Protect was protecting it from my Fold. But here's the thing. It was already on there. Okay? It's just that when I opened the app and I was trying to hit the update, I wasn't getting the update. So I'm like, well, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Just go download the APK and install as an update over the existing app. So the app was already in there. And Google Play blocked it. I found that fascinating. So I reported that on my socials. I tagged them on social media. I'm like, why am I going? That's the long way around. Just send it to Ryan. And so I did. I'm like, hey, you might want to look into this. So they were on it. They were going to communicate with Google Play because that would become a big concern for them to get out their their services out there for those that are choosing not to go with the phone but definitely want the services. For the services of this thing. And I think that is politically motivated. So that's what I mean, that when people see that there are not techies, and a lot of people that are trying to use this phone are not techies, which is why you have so many questions, when they see that, they're going to freak out. Because it's like, oh my gosh, maybe there's something wrong with this app. Yeah, but it won't tell you with F-Droid. It won't tell you that with Aurora Droid. So just letting you know, hold on. It's your browser lost connection to your screen share audio. I don't need audio. It's okay. All right, so here we go. Next question up. Someone asked me on that. Jamie Steers asked, are you still using the Unplugged phone as a daily driver? I responded, I am currently using the Z Fold 6. I use the Unplugged phone on weekends and check the apps and firmware daily. And that's one thing that I do. By default, a lot of these apps would auto update. I do not do that on Unplugged, or I tend not to do that on any device actually, because I like to report any of the updates, especially if those apps, if I don't install them in time, someone else reports that, hey, that update is bad, don't install it. Rolling back is a pain in the butt. Okay, so in the case of the Unplugged phone, all the relevant apps I refuse to auto update because I want to know when the updates come in so that I can report to you. So you follow me on the socials, you will see as I was updating that, hey, look, new iconography for some of the applications. Oh, look, a UI overhaul for some of these other apps. I've been reporting that. I've been trying to do that on the community posts on YouTube, but for the most part, it's been on X and Instagram. So just letting you know that I am covering that because I am giving you a play-by-play as they do things, because people only hear the big news. They want to know, it's like, well, have to deliver on their promises of getting updates out. What you want to see that they're actually actively working and supporting the phone. That's very important, and they're doing as much as they can. And unless you're like the big dogs like Samsung and have a bunch of fanboys that can report for you, there really isn't a recourse for other companies, let's say like Motorola. Motorola is a big company, but unless all these other tech news sites pick up on it, you're not going to know what they're doing with their apps until they drop a new phone and invite these influencers over to report on it and that. But after that, you don't really hear much after. Samsung, yes, and Sam Mobile, one of the best. Check them out. Anyway, let's see. This one, will there be an Unplugged phone too? I would like a transparent back if it shows the physical disconnect when you activate the kill switch. I know that would be pretty cool. This is from Tinfoil Chat. Am I going to get censored for that? I'm just reading the name here. But yes, that'd be pretty cool, huh? To be able to see the disconnects. Like, hey, how do I know this thing's actually disconnected from the battery, huh? I know it's not turning on, but could there be a workaround? Are you just tricking me here? So I think that'd be pretty cool. I agree. But it'll probably look like one of those teardowns from Jerry Rig Everything. So, yeah. Okay, this other one's from Eric Brock, 1864, on my volume 2 of the Unplugged phone wrap-up. 23 minutes in and still no info about the phone. If you'll notice, the title of that video is called Welcome New Followers and Unplugged phone wrap-up. It wasn't just Unplugged phone. And look, some of you have just left comments to express your frustration at me for not getting to the point too quick, as you'll see someone here later. I appreciate you venting. Were you paying attention to what I was doing? There's sometimes I am winging it. Other times it's purposeful because of what I'm covering. I have to cover certain news, and I think there was a lot more information I needed to get out to the new followers on that one, which is why it took a little longer for me to get to talking specifically about the unplugged phone. All right, will there be an unplugged phone 2? This is from J Bailey 9270. I'm still on the fence and still researching and reviewing Unplugged versus a de-Googled Pixel running an open source OS. For example, Graphene OS. Maybe someone that has both devices can comment. As someone who does do quite a bit of international travel for business and pleasure, it would be nice to have a private phone. And I responded by saying, I've used Unplugged, Graphene OS, Calypso OS, and Lineage. What specifically would you like to know regarding privacy during international travel? I did not get a response to that. So I'm still waiting for a response. But if some of you have specific questions because you're international travelers, I want to hear from you too. Let me know so I can better, more focused respond to this question, because I want to know what they want to know about this. Okay. All right. What's in the Unplugged Phone Store, Volume 4? It's a question. The Dogs 980. How does their email work if your personal email is a Gmail account? See, that's why I brought it up sooner, because some people believe that the email app is an email service. It's not. And I responded in kind. The UP email works like any other third-party app like K9 Mail or Mozilla, Thunderbird, and Microsoft Outlook for desktop. The emails themselves continue to be routed and stored through the email server, in this case, Google, if you're using Gmail. All right, next up. This is from Eric Huber, 7827. Left it on my first volume of All Things Unplugged Phone. My Unplugged Phone arrives tomorrow. I'm apprehensive, but I'm hoping I can break free of Google. And I put a heart there. It's been a month. Hey, Eric, if you're watching this, hey, let people know. What's been your experience like since then? Okay, and this is from my Unplugged Phone review. And I'm coming up on time here, so my goodness, I'm not even going to be able to finish these. Holy smokes. I might need to do another volume. And I'm sure there's going to be more questions after these two previous discussions about Unplugged drop. So I guess I'm running out of time. This is a good one. This is from Chris, IJ4VC. Why they make it like iPhone crap? This is what's left on my review. I know, I complained about it too, but like I mentioned earlier in the stream, go check out my other video where I talk about the exploding devices, Unplugged phones, big firmware update, and Parler launching Play TV. I do show about halfway through that stream the original design for that phone, and I'm really curious if maybe the Unplugged Phone 2 might go that route, because I thought that looked pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, next up. And I did put, they were asking for feedback for the next generation. So I put a link to that clip. And they are checking my stuff. So they let me know as much. Alrighty, Unplugged Phone review. Another one is from Juggernaut Drive SS. This sounds great. Not being able to use Chrome, YouTube app, and access my Gmail and Google accounts in general is a no for me. I don't understand why I can't have this level of security and privacy while maintaining my current level of access to my accounts. And I'm like, well, I get what you're trying to say if you're going to use the apps, but I did say you can still access via the browser. Some Google websites can be installed as PWA apps too. So you can do like the Gmail app service, for example, the Gmail app. You can install that as a web wrapper. Google Maps, you can do the same thing, install it as a web wrapper. And Google and YouTube Music, as I showed. What you cannot install as a web wrapper is YouTube, the video side of things. If you use YouTube TV, I don't know how that might work, so that probably won't. You might be SOL there. But then you know that that's my same gripe, but that's how they get you. That's how they all get you, to put you in a walled garden. Not as bad as Apple, but my goodness, it's bad. Alrighty, this one. This is from my review. Did you try Graphene OS on the Pixel Fold? This is from Kyle Norris 9585, and I said I did. It worked without any noticeable bugs, and I did. And I did that out of frustration because the Pixel Fold, which runs the Tensor 2 chip, is it M2 or T2? I forget. The phone just wiped itself. It went into this reboot thing. And I'm like, okay, weird. I tried to access and just start the phone through the recovery, and all my data was gone. I had no backup. So yeah, I was pissed. I'm like, dude, I can't trust it. So that's why I'm like, I'll give it a shot with, I didn't even install a firmware update either. It was just sitting on my desk while I was working. That's why I couldn't use it as a daily driver. Bummer. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna test it on the 7 Pro. I didn't have similar issues with that, even though it's running the same internals. But then again, I didn't use it as extensively as I did the Pixel Fold. Okay. All right. This was when I put up the post. Would you like to see the co-founder Eric Prince on the show? And I put up the poll for people to vote. And this is from James Steers, and they did. And he did put a question. Ask him how this phone is any different than the Google 4A that was built by the FBI to get a bunch of arrests. I believe that is referencing the Anon phone. And you sure bet I will ask him direct about that if he comes on the program. A lot of you have had that, even in previous volumes of comments and questions, have that main concern. It's either a honeypot or if it's a new Anon phone or whatever it might be. But kind of like I mentioned a little earlier, someone said that this was an obvious honeypot, and someone responded saying he's close to Trump. And he's close to, I forget who else, and he's hated by Obama and company. And Obama and company have weaponized our intel agencies and Department of Justice against conservatives and Republicans. So that should kind of give you a hint where Eric Prince might stand and where this phone might stand. But then again, we haven't really heard it from him, have we? So hopefully I'll be the first to ask him. And if you do want me to get a question into him, go to that community post. Leave it there. If I haven't interviewed him, you haven't seen a post here, or if I've announced that, hey, I couldn't get him on the show, then maybe there's still time. Because these things do take time, folks. It's not just, hey, when you come on my show, sure, talk to you tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. A lot of you felt the same way when I said, hey, could I get, like to hear from the CTO? Well, in that case, we had already arranged to make it happen. It's just that it took a lot longer with logistics and all that to make it work. And when it finally did, I just thought it was right when it should have. It couldn't be timed any better. So these things do take time, folks. It's a work in process. And unlike other techies that give you a promise or say something, I do follow up with my stuff. And if I don't, I leave it to you to hold me accountable. Guys, I am almost out of time. And there's so many questions still and comments still to go through. You guys are awesome. And this is just YouTube. I try to get ones from Rumble as well. And if I didn't answer someone on Rumble, I'll go fetch them. But man, I wish I could answer the ones from X, because I know there were a lot of you leaving stuff on X and tagging me elsewhere, and I couldn't find them because I wasn't. Those accounts that were tagging me weren't verified, so I didn't get the notifications. And the notifications really need to be fixed on X. I'll tell you that much. And even as someone that is, I do have the blue check mark. I am verified. But even on accounts with my friends that we follow each other and we talk, and some of their accounts have just gotten so much bigger sense. Even my replies are being buried there, and I have to pay more to get rid of ads and to get another reply boost on top of that. Because even though these accounts are friends with me, they're getting boosted by X is boosting the algorithm with these even bigger accounts that have a more premium access than I do. So I'm like, so I have to text them or I probably message them. It's like, in case you didn't see my message, which is often the case, that's what happens. So I gotta say, I'm not happy with that experience so far. All right, and it looks like James Steers did contribute a little else. This is almost the same question. Arcane OS was the one he was talking about. Okay, how is this phone any different from the Google 4A built by FBI and sold as super secure phone to only catch criminals, aka Arcane OS? So, so not the Anon phone. I was thinking about the Anon phone. Okay, so I don't think I saw that response. I thought it was the same one from earlier. Okay, then I'll look into that too. I have heard of that one, but I haven't looked into it. And by the way, there are other companies that have offered me their devices for me to test. It's something that I do check my junk mail, because some legit emails do go to junk mail. And I did notice that I was receiving some offers from certain companies to try out their phones. But the way they went about it is not how I like it. Don't flash money at me as a way to get me to review your device. If you want an honest response, then you would tell me that you would like to send me your device and to give you a forwarding address wherever you can send it for an honest review. I do not like a monetary exchange. Like, I don't want you to pay me to review the device. You're already sending me the device. I see it as a gesture of good faith. Only twice has that happened. One was an activity tracker. I think that's what it's called, activity tracker. And the second, Unplugged. In the about 10 years I've been doing YouTube and 5 years that I've been doing the Andrew Segovia show and covering tech. It's only happened twice. Everyone else was offering me kickbacks because they thought they could influence me to give them a positive review. And I have to say, one of those companies was a company I have heard of, and they were offering their offerings look pretty interesting because they're offering a hardened kerneled iPhones and Androids. I've heard about them before. I do not like that approach where that kind of tells me you're expecting something. So I don't want that to hang over my head. And like, nope, I don't want you offering me money or commissions to push this and give me a promo code and things like that. Nope, not doing that. So guys, I'm out of time. My goodness, dude, that means that I didn't. How many more do I got to go? That's quite a few. And I know there's going to be more. So let me see if I can squeeze in 2 more. Hertz Stanford on my unboxing video for the Unplugged phone says Dixie Well. Okay. All right. I guess I'll end up with this one. This one is from users. VC4MP6L1G. This is on my exclusive interview with the CEO on CTO of Unplugged. I don't know much about phones, but it sounds like the real issue is the source code. Licenses preventing people from releasing important information is exactly why people have trust issues. If the company wants support from the community, the company needs to listen to what the community wants. If licenses are preventing that, scrap them and find a different way. I'm so apprehensive about this device. The interviews are great. The message is good. The people seem honesty. I think he meant honest. But then there's the elephant in the room, which is the source code. There are so many people who desperately want their privacy protected. They will support your company if you can prove it's trustworthy. And I could not heart that more than I have. Yes, and I'm like this. An excellent comment that I believe perfectly highlights the sentiment of many that have yet to make the change. The user responded. Ironically, the question becomes, do I trust an Israeli company with justifiably questionable management that won't release their source code over Google? The answer is probably yes, like 100%. That really is what it comes down to. Apple and Meta are closed off, but no one ditches them despite everything that we know. Unlike the big tech guys needing to fess up, unlike the big tech guys needing to fess up via congressional subpoenas, Unplugged is willing to answer the hard questions. They invite cybersecurity guys to test their services. That's largely glossed over. That's a great way to end this one. I didn't get through all of them. I got through a lot, and it's interesting because some of the questions sometimes sound like they're the same question as before. There's a nuance to some of these questions, though, and I hope I've given you nuanced answers. But that right there is an excellent comment. I could not heart that more, but man, that really is what it all comes down to. So, folks, this is where I'll leave it. I hope that this turned out really good. I'm using a new testing service that's a bit upgraded on the server side for StreamYard. I hope it came out really good, and I hope I stayed in frame for most of it because I was doing the split screen and all that in a different way than I've done before. But that's where I'll leave it, folks. Check out my stuff at the_Segovia.com. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe wherever you are to make sure you stay in the know. Hit the notification bell where applicable. The last stream I did through Rumble Studio. This one's through StreamYard. So if you like what you saw with StreamYard, my partner link is down below. And if you want to check out all my links so you can support the show, because none of this is free, then you can either get coffee, you can get natural skincare, and there's other stuff, including, I love Samsung. I've been using them for a decade. They're my go-to business devices. I have a referral link for you to save 5% on Samsung too. So you can find those at theundersegovia.start.page, among other links as well. And I guess that's where I'll leave it. Follow me across the socials at theundersegovia, on X_Andresegovia. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Have a good one.